podcast. I'm Glenn Downey. I am delighted to be able to speak to this person virtually, whereas before I used to speak to her in real time, in real life, because she was actually one of my former nursery parents at a setting that I worked at, and she's just absolutely delightful. We used to be known as the Hat Twins because we had the same bobble hat. Have you still got the same bobble hat, by the way?
Of course, I've
Oh,
got like
brilliant.
several.
I was literally just talking about that today. I was like, I wonder if she's still got the same bobble. Anyway, Laurna Hislop from Coorie with Love, welcome to Circle Time.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Oh,
It's
we have
always
been trying
good
to
to
set
chat
this
to
up
you.
for ages, haven't we?
I know. I think when you were still up here, we were chatting about it for the
I
first time.
literally was. I mean, it's probably been, yeah, over a year since we've been trying to set this up. But oh, it's
Yeah,
so
we're
nice to have you
here.
there. Oh, so tell us what is Korean with love?
So, first of all, I'll explain what Coorie means because a lot of people that listen might not
This is
know
true.
what
This is
that
true. I
is.
know what it
Yes.
means.
You know now.
Yeah.
So Coorie is like an old Scottish Gaelic word that means to snuggle up, to cuddle up. Imagine if you're getting like a big blanket and a movie night and just snuggling up on the couch. That's Coorieing in. So I thought with what I do, Coorie in with love made the most sense for a business name and
Mhm.
it clicked and I was like, that's it, I'm going to run with it. And it did. So I am a baby wearing consultant or baby wearing educator, whatever you want to call me. I teach people how to carry their babies and children in slings and carriers, basically. Um, with that comes a whole host of things, and from it, attachment parenting and bonding and helping with postpartum depression and just everything. There's benefits coming out the wazoo for baby wearing. It's just the best thing. I'm able to teach people. I do it virtually online as well, and I have people come into my studio as well. And I have a lot of slings and carriers to show you.
You really do. You really do. Because we follow each other on Instagram, and some of the videos that you do there are just amazing. And it's the hints and tips that you do as well, because there's bits I've like, I didn't know about that. What? I
Yeah,
know there was one
yeah.
I'd seen recently, and it was when you've got a very, very tiny newborn almost, and it's making
Hmm.
sure that newborn's face isn't covered over or being like squished
Yep.
in, and like the little
Hmm.
folds and stuff that you do. So going back, like rewind slightly. So baby wearing isn't a new thing, but it has really kind of become quite a big thing now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of been a big thing, but I think obviously with social media and influencers and everything, and new brands popping up, then you see it a lot more. As soon as you have a baby and you start searching on social media or Google or whatever, and you're searching for baby items, you'll start getting like, oh, this carrier, that carrier, baby wearing, baby, and you'll see this, and you'll they'll pop up everywhere. So I think more people are aware of it now than like in 20 years ago, then they would have just been like handed down something rather than actually going out and searching for it. Baby wearing is a natural thing. I
Mhm.
mean, we come from we are a carrion species, and if you look at gorillas carry their young,
Mhm.
lots of animals carry their young. It's natural and it's where babies want to be. So if babies spent up to 9 months in the womb and then they come out in the world, and what do? You put them down. You're told to put them in the bassinet. You're told to put them in a bouncer and a crib and all these things and put baby down and they have to settle. That's not what babies want to do. They want to be attached to you and
Mhm.
but you, obviously, nowadays we still have things to do. So you want to have attachment, but you still want to do things. So baby wearing gives you the best of both worlds. You're able to keep baby close to you and keep them contented and have your hands free for other children or simple things in the house or just getting out and about when not everywhere's pram friendly as well.
Yeah, that I mean that's actually a really good point because I mean certainly where my nursery is based now, we have a
Hmm.
massive, I mean, these are slightly older children, like babies that can sit up by themselves and all
Yeah.
that. Um, but we've got a massive four-seater wagon that we call it the wagon. And actually trying to get around. So yeah, it is that bit where like not everywhere you can scoot a
Mm.
pram through. If you're trying to get through the middle aisle of Aldi. They're on impossible. Never mind getting a
Yep.
trolley, you can't get anything else through.
But also, there's so many buggies and prams that claim to be all terrain and they can go anywhere. They can't. They just can't. And if you have a dog as well, I've had lots of parents come to me and like, I've got a dog and I still need to be able to go out. The dog's off lead and they run off. And if the dog's up over it and you're trying to go through the woods and what do you do? Do you run after the dog and leave the buggy, or do you like
Yeah.
try and drag the buggy over like uneven ground and stuff? So with baby wearing, you can go anywhere in the woods. There's nowhere that's not accessible when you're baby wear.
No, it's definitely that because you're free as a human to move around because you can. I mean, like I say,
Hmm.
I've seen your videos and I have seen people baby wearing as well,
Hmm.
and you are basically free to do pretty much everything that you would do normally, but actually baby's then
With
connected
exception
to
for
you.
safety.
Thank you. Yeah, health and
Slight
safety at all
disclaimer.
times. Do
Yes, I'll
your
say
risk
no riding
assessment.
a bike, no riding a bike, no driving a car, no things like that.
What? Oh no.
It's actually illegal to obviously driving a car is just stupid, but riding a bike with the baby in a carrier, that's actually illegal. Each person on a bike must have their own seat and helmet.
Well, there you go. I've just learned
So there we
something
go. For
new. Thank
anyone
you very
listening,
much. Every day's a
for
school
anyone
day.
listening that thinks I'm going to go ride a bike, please don't.
Please don't. No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for you, where did your journey with this start? I mean, obviously, I know one of your wee guys because he was my little buddy.
Yeah, so I have my youngest. I don't think you met the eldest. Maybe sulking in the car when I picked up the wee one.
Possibly.
Um, but my eldest is going to be 12 later on this year. So 12, almost 12 years ago, my journey started, and I had a very young dog at the time. The dog had just turned 1, and then the baby was born, and I was like, how am I going to be able to get out and about? That was the first thought when I was pregnant. I was like, how am I able to get out and about and go in the woods and let him off? He's a Springer Spaniel and he needs proper walks. So I was like, how do I do that? So I Googled, doing the usual. I was like that baby carrier, baby gear, baby thing. And then I went on eBay. This is not what you should do when you're looking at a sling for
Mhm.
now. Come to me for advice. But I went on eBay and I saw one and it said it did everything. It supported and it was from newborn. I was like, right, it was like £20. Like, buy that. That'll do me. Then I can still get out. It arrived and it was absolutely horrendous.
Mm.
And yeah, I think I've got one picture of it. And I knew straight away, I was like, this is not right. Not safe either. And at the time with my first, I had really bad postnatal depression.
Mhm.
So that kind of took into it as well. I was like, I needed some freedom. I needed to be able to get out and about, and living in a flat where I had to think, right, I need to take the buggy down the stairs to get into the car. Then I need to come back and get the dog. And then I need to get the baby. And I was like, there's like for me, I was like, I just couldn't get out because there was too many steps before I could get out, which with postnatal depression, that happens. There's too much to do, so I just can't do it. Um, so I'd seen someone at a baby group that I'd gone to, I think it was a breastfeeding group, and she came in and she had baby in this wrap thing and she just unwrapped, took baby out and then put baby back in, wrapped up and away she went. And I was like, I want one of them. I was like, that looks amazing because she was just so free and easy, just a bag on her shoulder. I was like, show me, please show me what to do. And that's what it used to be. It used to be these skills were passed
Yeah.
generation to generation and from the village that you had. So I was like, show me. So she gave me one of hers to borrow and I tried it and I was like, I'm in love. So, and it made a huge difference to my postnatal depression because then I was able to just have the sling, have the baby and the dog, go down the stairs, put them in the car, and then get out, put the sling on, and go. And I had the freedom again to be me, to be what I used to do before I had a baby.
Mhm.
And it just made a huge difference. And then there was locally, there was some training. So it was like a peer level. So I now trained people to be that level. So it was like basics and I wanted to do it just because I wanted to learn a bit more about for myself. And then when I did it and I was like, you can actually do this as a job and like give people this feeling of that just
Yeah.
sigh of relief. And I was like, I want to be able to help other people have this feeling. So I was like, right, okay, I went away and did the training and That's where I am now. I've done lots and lots of training to get to where I am.
It's interesting you were talking there about, that having to go back and forth. And a lot of parents
Mm,
are under a lot of pressure because some people are going back to work quite early as well because they've got
hmm
that external pressure of having to bring an income into the house. And there is a lot on parents just now.
hmm
And it was interesting you say like it's going up and down the flights of stairs and there's that
mm,
feeling of overwhelm and
hmm
it doesn't just creep in, it comes flying in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it was interesting you say that just that freedom opened up and you were able to be you, and that's hugely important, like
hmm
for mental health and for physical health as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was used to getting out several times a week with the dog and being able to go out walking and stuff. And also, I had a lot of pain problems when I was pregnant. So I basically ended up in a wheelchair when I was pregnant.
Mm,
So that probably didn't help because already, like, my physical health had gone right
yeah,
down. And then that just made a big dent in the things. And then it just kind of got worse. But then after she was born, I was able to get around and do things. But then the whole getting somewhere to do those activities was the struggle. So then it's just too much and it just kind of hits you. And
yeah.
I felt like I was somebody's mum and I wanted to be me again. So I was like, how do I be me and get a bit of freedom? So it was amazing to help.
It's that conflict. It's funny you saying that because I was thinking today, I was out for a coffee earlier, and
Mm,
there was a young family at the table next to me, and as you do, you earwig, and it was interesting.
yeah.
It's like she kept saying it's like, oh, do you want mummy to cut this up for you? And I was like, interesting. When do you stop? When do you start becoming mummy, but stop being you? And I think that's really important for parents as well, that
Yeah.
they need to be themselves. They need to be who
Mm-hmm.
they are. They're not just mummy now. And that's
Mm-hmm.
so important.
Yeah, hugely. And as well, like if you're going out doing an activity that you like it could be walking in the woods, it could be going to a coffee shop and meeting a friend, it could be just walking around the block. But if you've got a settled, calm baby on your chest, you're not somebody's mum then. You are a parent, but you can do something that you want to do and
Mhm.
baby's happy and settled and along for the ride rather than the focus isn't as much on the baby as opposed to you're doing what you want to do. So it can make a huge difference to for postnatal depression and for dads as well and any other parents, any other caregivers, grandparents, anyone who wants to have that bond and that attachment to a baby. So non-birthing parents can carry their children and have that feeling as well because it's like, you know how like there's lots of things now about weighted blankets for children with anxiety
Mhm.
and ADHD and all that. So weighted blanket is because you feel that lovely deep compression and it's like a hug. Baby wearing is the same thing, not only for the child, for the parent carrying as well, because no matter what's on you is going to be snug and secure, so it holds baby safely, but you also get that kind of wee bit of a compression kind of hug as well, which is so
Yeah.
nice.
No, that I totally get that as well. It's that bit where for baby as well, like you say that they've just spent 9 months in the womb and they're listening to
Mm,
like they're close to your heartbeat and things like that, and they're
mm-hmm,
getting that back again because there's that safety, that kind of surround, that snug,
mm,
fit with the carrier, that it just holds them close as well. And then for you as well, I suppose it's just being snugged in there, but not tight.
yeah.
It's just enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so nice. It is just like wrapping a hug. And I've got another friend who's a consultant down in London, and her business is called Wrap a Hug. And I'm like, that's so nice because it's all these kind of we're using all these words like wrap and a hug and a love and all these things because that's where it comes from. But it's just there's nothing better. And I will still carry the wee man now. Obviously not at the moment, but yeah, he still wants to go up sometimes, and I'm like, that's fine. And you do feel, as soon as he goes up, he's just, you just feel
Yeah.
that with him as well, because the children realize that it's just sometimes they'll be a bit cranky and a bit unsettled going in, but once you get everything secured and tight, and they're like, oh, this is quite nice. So just stay here and
Yeah.
go for a wee nap. So it's just that lovely feeling.
It's that bit as well that we live in a hectic world, and sometimes you just need to. It's almost like closing away from that world, isn't it?
Mm,
And just being close to just that one person, that one secure person with them.
hmm
So we've kind of looked at it from a parent perspective, and the
Hmm.
benefits, I think you'd agree, are probably limitless with it
Yeah.
as well. I
We'll
mean,
try, we're trying to keep this short.
well, ish. But what about from a nursery perspective? So, I mean, we've had babies that have come to us, and like you say,
Hmm.
they can be a little bit anxious and fretful. And, we've had quite a young one come to my setting that hasn't really been away from mum. And, it's
Hmm.
difficult if you're the baby room practitioner and, you've got, at least three other, three children that need your attention, and one's just needing held all the time. Do you think this
Hmm.
is a good thing for settings to have as well to learn how to
Yeah.
do baby wearing?
Definitely, I would highly recommend it for any nursery setting or childminders because it can be so beneficial for the child as well, especially if that child is carried at home. Then
Mhm.
it can be even more beneficial because they're getting that nice something that they have at home that keeps them calm is going to help keep them calm in that setting as well. So it can be a nice kind of crossover, especially if they're using the same sling or carrier that they use at home, they know how it feels. But even for the nursery staff, because you're maybe as a parent, you've got two or three other kids to kind of run about with and you can kind of get things done. But in a nursery setting, you've got multiple kids to kind of deal with. So if you've got a child that's needing a toilet and a child that's wanting to do something, or a child that's hurt, or one's up a tree or whatever, and then you've got one child that you just cannot put down, and maybe you might be the only one in that setting that that child
Mhm.
allows to be held by. Because I know that happens, and I've seen that in where we were before. There was some children that would only go to certain
Yeah,
practitioners, and
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
that's fine because that's who they feel safe with. So
That's a
if you've got
security
that
point.
kind of
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If you've got that kind of responsibility for being the only one that can calm that child, then being able to use a slinger carrier can be so beneficial to both of you because then you can still get on and do all the things you need to do. You can have baby on your front, or depending on their age, you can have them on your back as well, which gives you even more freedom because then you could still hug other children and do other things, and that child is calm and secure. And then when they're ready, they can go down and join in other activities. But there's so many nurseries that have had training to be able to use slinger carriers in
Mhm.
settings for when a child's upset, or if you're going a trip one day and maybe a child's fallen and they need held, and obviously you can only hold a child for so long in your arm and you're like, oh my God, this is so heavy. But in a slinger carrier, they're weightless and you can just get on with things. So it's so many benefits in a childcare setting as well.
We've been quite lucky in my current setting. My deputy, who's also my baby room lead as well,
Hmm.
we've got a like a commercial sling, if you like,
Hmm.
just one of the off, and it's one that she's used before, and she knows how to use it because she's done the same with her own little one. That
Hmm.
she would carry, and it was one of these. It's like as manager, I'm like, I've got to do a risk assessment for this, and I keep checking. It's like, is your back okay? Is everything? But actually, like you say, I mean, she kept telling me as well, and I didn't believe it. I need to do this myself. I still haven't done it, and I like maybe I need to do this because I do. I work in the baby room one day a week as well to cover her day
Hmm.
off. But it's one of those bits where, yeah, she was saying, no, it doesn't hurt my back, and she is
Hmm.
free. Like she was moving around doing jobs and this, that, and the other, and I was like, this is really interesting. But I have to say, your slings, your wraps are completely different, aren't they? They're not like the commercial
Oh, no,
ones
no,
that
no.
you
I
get.
have everything in the library. So a lot of people will think of because we're called a sling library. So it's a lot of people think it's just the big fabric ones. And I have the big fabric ones because they're my favorite. And that's what I specialize in. I've got a whole online
Yeah.
course dedicated to that. But I cover everything. So I support parents from pre-me to preschool. And I have something to cover all of those ages in between and the very extreme ages. Up to age 7, I have carriers. So if you have
Wow.
children with disabilities or limited mobility that you still want to be able to go out and about and enjoy things, but you
Hmm.
may be limited with specialist buggies or wheelchairs or things, then it's a
Hmm.
really, really great benefit to be able to carry an older child. And I can support you with that as well. But I have all sorts of carriers. I have ones with rings, I have ones with buckles, ones with clips, ones with magnetic bits, because not every slinger carrier will suit every person and every
Hmm.
baby. So, for example, somebody that comes into me for a session, I will go over. what body size they are, if they have any mobility different difficulties. Because if you can't reach behind your back, I'm not going to show you a carrier that you have to adjust behind your back because
Yeah.
that's not going to work for you. If you're got a limb difference, I will show you something that we can adapt to work for you. Um, if I had a lady before that she'd broken her ankle, but she still had a baby to look after, so we looked at what options that were going to work for her sitting down, then she could stand up with the crutches. So there's
Mhm.
lots of things that we can adapt. But yeah, I cover everything. So not as many of the ones you see in high street stores because they tend to be the more basic,
Yeah.
simpler ones. I do have some of them because people want to see them or people come to me and they want help. So it's good that I have them. I can show, right, okay, this is what your carrier does, and we'll look at how to fix it. But I have everything and I'm constantly getting new. My microphone is currently sit on 4 boxes of new slings that I have not actually opened yet. So I have them everywhere.
Yeah, I have noticed like, yeah, as I say, I follow you on socials, like we follow each other
Hmm.
on Instagram, and like I've seen the excitement on your face when you've got a new one, and it's like you've seen these unboxing videos on YouTube, and there's you with a new sling, and you're like
No, like
literally you can't wait to do it. I mean, I
it's
think just
so annoying at the minute because I'm not obviously I'm still recovering at the minute, so I'm not able to lift like my dolls are weighted, they're heavy dolls.
Mhm.
They're like £10 dolls, so I can't actually lift them at the minute and I can't strap anything on me because I'm recovering. So I've got all these lovely new carriers that I've been waiting on for ages before I had my issue, and then I'm like, I'm looking at them, I really want to play with them, but I can't, and it's really frustrating. But they are exciting, and I've been roping in my other half. So you'll have seen on my socials that I've been roping in my other half to do some demos and stuff for me lately, and he's going to do a wee dad series, so that'll be
Yes,
good.
Mr. Coorie.
Yeah, that's his official title.
He's got a new title. I mean, I know we can't see this on the podcast. I think, hang on, where are we? There you go. Speaking of babies, there's mine. There's my baby massage doll just behind me.
Yeah, but they're
So,
not those weighted ones, are they? They're just like squishy. Or is it?
I mean, he's not that weighted, but he's not very squishy either, Hamish. And everyone that looks at him go, he's quite creepy, isn't he? Like, you leave my Hamish alone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's when I've got like a whole shelf, my Calax, and I've got like 5 or 6 dolls and they're all like looking at you. It's like,
And they always kind of
they are a
lean
bit
to one
creepy.
side in quite a
They
really
do. They all kind of like pile on top of each other. And I'm like, what's going on?
oh no. So, if a nursery was considering doing this, which having spoken to my deputy, who's like totally convinced me this is such a good thing to do. And, obviously, I've seen you do it, and I know the benefits because
I will
you talk
travel
about it
down
with
and
such
I'll
passion.
teach you.
I know, but where's a good starting place for any kind of childcare setting, like you say, either nursery or childminder?
Mhm. So it depends if you want to kind of have a group or just one person wants to kind of know what they're doing.
Mhm.
So if it was just one person, I would suggest doing their peer support training. That will give them the support to know the differences between the buckle carriers and all the different slings and know the basics like the safety, positioning,
Mhm.
and how to adjust things for different age babies. So if they've working with babies to toddlers, then they will be able to look at options that will fit safely for different ages rather than like if a parent was coming to me with a 3 month old, I will show them how to fit it for a 3 month old and then how to look at it for as they get older. But then if you're working with different children, you want to know how to fit it for different children and look at options that can or different. So maybe one carrier might not work for the both those all those ages, but different ones will. If there was a group of you, then I would suggest getting a trainer in to look at. So it wouldn't be full peer support, but it would be teaching you all of the basics and the safety and the mechanics, and obviously all of the things that we do with the babies, how they develop and grow and things
Mhm.
like that. But it would also show you a couple of carriers that you can use in your settings and how to adjust them for different babies and children. So there are some trainers, I'm a trainer as well. So there are trainers dotted around all over the UK, and some of them have specific courses for childcare professionals and practitioners as well. So they will
Mhm.
come in, they will maybe include a couple of carriers for you to be able to use, show you how to use them and go over everything as well. So that would probably be the best thing to do. Um, I I think I spoke to you about it before, but we never kind of got round to it. I've not done one yet, but I have kind of got my course outlined. So I've got my full peer course, and
Mhm.
then I've tweaked it a wee bit. I got the outline of like a childcare setting course.
That's brilliant because I think, like you say, it was interesting. You were saying like individuals, which would be kind of like your childminders, but even then, like
Mm-hmm.
most childminders have got like a support network nearby.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth maybe them getting together and, like you say, with nurseries as well, maybe the whole baby room team or some of the like maybe
Mm-hmm.
the toddler team as well getting together because then you're building up your own peer support community within your setting as well, which would be really,
Mm-hmm.
really helpful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, the most important thing is safety. So just because you used a slinger carrier with your child doesn't always mean that it's going to work with other children as well. So
Mhm.
you'll see this with people who might have got a slinger carrier with their first child and it worked brilliantly for them, and then they have a second child and it just doesn't work the same
Yeah.
because their body's changed, but that child has changed as different as well, and they'll fit differently. But safety is the biggest thing, and
Mhm.
that's kind of, I mean, you'll see that on my socials as well, that there's a lot going on at the minute with especially influencers and some brands, and just because an instructions and something says something doesn't always mean that that's correct, unfortunately, because there's a lot of carriers that will just want to make sales rather than focusing on safety. So if you're not sure, if you are wanting to use one, then reach out to your local sling library and just say, can we get some support, or can you kind of put me on to someone that's going to be able to
Yeah.
give me the support to be able to use this in the setting? Because um, yeah, so that the sizes and things and how the panel will adjust and things will be very different for different ages of children
Mhm.
and how they want to sit. So you might have a baby that sits perfectly like this. You might have a baby that snuggles down. You need to know how to adjust that to keep the baby safe. You might have a toddler that wants to have their arms out, but they have a tendency to lean back. So you need to know how to adjust it to keep them safe so that obviously there's no fall risk instead.
Yeah.
So obviously in a childcare setting, you've got a lot more kind of risk assessments and stuff to deal with as well. So you'll need to know how to be able to work within that and keep them safe at each
Mhm.
stage.
Definitely. I think I think one of the things you said there as well is like, and I know, if I was going anywhere, I'd go straight to you because, well, for a fact, I know you, but also I
Yeah.
know that you've gone from your own babies all the way up, so like you've been there, you've seen it, and you've worked with it,
hmm
and you've expanded your knowledge, and you've done the training and all that. It's important, I think, isn't it, to go to somebody that is experienced. Like you say, there's a
hmm
lot of influencers out there. Although I'd say you have influence, I wouldn't call you an influencer
Maybe in the
because
best way.
there you go. Yeah, but it's like you say, it's going to the right person. If you'd like got your sling libraries and that, they'll be run by people that have used slings and baby wearing and are experienced with it. And it's finding that right advice so that you're doing it
hmm
right for the child. And like you say, every child is individual. So it's not cookie cutter approach. It's every child is different
No.
and every child will be carried
hmm
slightly differently as well.
hmm Definitely. It's like you, if your car broke down, you wouldn't just go and ask Uncle Bob down the street. You would maybe go to a mechanic so you know, but that
Mhm.
person knows about your car and how to work it. Or just because Uncle Bob's got the same car as you doesn't mean he knows how it's going to work. So it's the same with carriers. You want to speak to someone who's got the actual training to support you
Mhm.
and your child, because just because, and as well, just because maybe your sister or something has the same carrier, it's not going to always adjust the same way, or it's not always going to work the same way. And we usually say, a lot of us in this kind of industry, we usually refer to carriers as jeans. So you can go into 5 shops and buy the same size of jeans in 5 different shops, and they will not all fit you. Maybe you'll be
Mhm.
lucky if you get one pair that fits you.
Mhm.
And it's the same with carriers, because carriers all fit differently. It depends on your body size. It depends just how your shoulders sit can make a
Mhm.
big difference to how a carrier is going to fit to you. And as well on you, if you don't want one that wraps around and things, or you want something that clips quickly, then we'll look at that. But depending on your child, we might need to look at some adjustments. If your child's got disabilities, we might need to know how to support them best or adapt a carrier. And that's as well because I've got the training and the insurance to go with it. I can show you how to work things out with the manufacturer's instructions. So
Hmm.
if I need to show you how to adapt something or change it differently to fit your child, I can do that, and you now learn how to do it safely because I've taught you, not because somebody off of Facebook has said, "Oh, do this and it'll be fine,"
I think
which
so.
is always the way.
I think it is that bit. It's like, oh, so and so's done that. I mean, it is that bit that, we quite often get like, oh, look, have you seen this thing on Pinterest? Yes, I've seen
Yep.
lots of things on Pinterest, but is that the same for, you know, baby wearing, or is it, it's the same there. The same principle that it's worked for one child, but not necessarily for the other as well.
Yes. So how one thing works for one child will be very, very different. You might have a child that likes their arms out, so you need to have a
Hmm.
carrier that will allow that child to have their arms out. Some carriers are cut or are set in a different way that if they've got their arms out, they're going to be squished like this. So if they desperately want their arms out, you're not going to look at that carrier because it's going to not be comfortable for them.
Hmm.
So it's little things like that and how where buckles sit. For example, if you're a breastfeeding parent, then where buckles sit on the side of your body might not be comfortable. If you're a fuller bust or a bigger body, where things sit is not going to be comfortable, or you might not be able to get things off and reach behind you. And even the waistbands can be very different. So a lot of the time it is personal preference because
Hmm.
how it fits on your body is makes a big difference as well.
Definitely. I think it's one of these for any childcare setting or, childminder. I think the important thing, if I'm right, is just don't rush into it. It's get the
Hmm.
information, get the training, get the support in place first before you turn around to parents and say, "Oh yeah, we do baby wearing," because I
Hmm.
think that's important, isn't it? Because you've got to look after, number one, you've got to look after the infant, the child that you're
Hmm.
carrying, but also you've got to look after the adult there as well, because you've got a duty of care to both. Particularly as a manager, you've
Hmm.
got that duty of care to both the child and the adult that's carrying them. So it's not rushing into it.
No, definitely. And as well, depending on where you see the information can be really dangerous. So if you say to parents, "Oh, I can do baby wear and I've got a carrier, I can put them in." But maybe if you've bought that off of TikTok because you saw influencers using it
Hmm.
dangerously and you use it that way, then obviously that's going to be a huge thing for your insurance because if
Hmm.
anything happens to that child, then you're out of business basically
Yeah.
because that it is life or death because there are babies who have sadly died in carriers because the parents have maybe seen influencers using it unsafely, or they've seen something on social media because a brand thinks, "Oh, that's a great picture, I'll put it up," but it's not safe, and people do what they see. So if
Hmm.
you're putting up an unsafe picture, then people are going to copy that. They're not going to look at the instructions because who's got the time to read through a whole booklet of instructions or watch a video that the brand's done with. I've seen a lot of brands use, like plastic solid dolls that
Hmm.
kids have got. You cannot demonstrate how to safely use a
No,
carrier with a doll like that. You need a baby wearing doll, or use a real child, get a model in. But it is you have to be safe. Safety is the full thing. If you're not comfortable, then there's things we can do. But if the baby's or the child's not safe, then yeah, you
they
need to
can't
make
they
it
can't
make
always let
yeah.
you know either.
Exactly. They can't be like, "Oh, by the way, I've not got
Yeah,
any
by the
air
way, my
here."
head's not
Who,
supported, or by the way, you're
yeah,
suffocating me in here.
yeah, exactly. So you need to get it right. So get the right support first.
I think that's a great way to sum it up. Lorna, we've actually
Yes.
reached the end of the podcast, but it's been fab to talk to you. It's been, yeah, it's
You
brilliant. And I
too.
think it is definitely one of those things that, we're trying to create homely, warm environments within childcare settings. And I think that's definitely
Hmm.
a really positive step for the care and the love of the children that come to us, because
Hmm.
I'm not one, I mean, you'll know it, that I'm not one to shy away from saying that love is an important part of what we do.
Mm.
Some settings are like, oh no, don't like, but I'm like, no, if you don't love the children, why are you
Children
there?
likes hugs, exactly. And
Exactly.
children love hugs and attach and cuddles and stuff, and you
Hmm.
can do everything at once.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on to Circle Time. It's been
You're welcome.
absolutely brilliant. We'll put all your details, your website and all your socials on our description
Cool.
for this podcast. But in the meantime, Laurna Hislop, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.